Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanishalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. In this session, we are beginning a new chapter in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the 8th chapter. The 8th chapter is entitled Prayers by Queen Kunti and Parikshit Saved. These are the two major topics in this chapter. The first verse, Suta Uvacha Atate Samparetanam Swanam Udakamichatam Datum Sakrishna Gangayam Puraskritya Yayustriyaha. The meaning of this verse, the first verse of this 8th chapter, the first canto of Bhagavatam, Suta Goswami said, thereafter the Pandavas, desiring to deliver water to their dead relatives who had desired it, went to the Ganges with Draupadi. The ladies walked in front. So the previous chapter described how the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi were actually beheaded by Ashwathama. And in order to punish Ashwathama, there was a very big description of the effort involved and the actual suitable punishment that is to be given to him as an aggressor, as a Brahma Bandhu, as the son of the military teacher to whom the Pandavas were very much indebted, like that. So in the end, Ashwathama's life was spared, but Draupadi lost her 5 sons. So the Pandavas, desiring to deliver water to the dead relatives, they had to do the last rituals, the final rites for the departed souls. So they went to the Ganges with Draupadi, and the ladies walked in front. So Srila Prabhupada explains this particular ritual. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, to date it is the custom in Hindu society to go to the Ganges or any other sacred river to take bath when death occurs in the family. Death is an inevitable part of life. That life in this body is always got a beginning and an end. So the end of life in this body is called death. And according to Bhagavad Gita, the real person inside the body, the soul, quits the body or is forced to quit the body at the time of death, at the time of, at the end of this life, and the end of life in this body. So when death occurs, it is the tradition and the custom to go to some sacred river and take bath. And moreover, it is described here by Srila Prabhupada, each of the family members pours out a potful of the Ganges water for the departed soul and walks in a procession with the ladies in the front. So those of you who are familiar with this custom, that the rituals that are performed, one of the important rituals is called dharmodaka, offering water. Udaka means water. Offering water for the departed soul, according to the particular prescribed method in the Dharma Shastras. The Pandavas also followed the rules more than 5,000 years ago. So these customs and traditions and the particular rituals mentioned in the Dharma Shastra are not something new that has been invented now. It has always existed in human society, and it was followed by the Pandavas 5,000 years ago, because this is a historical record. The Srimad Bhagavatam is a historical record of what happened 5,000 years back when the Pandavas and Kauravas were present on this earth. Now, the most important point here is Lord Krishna. Who is Lord Krishna? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Being a cousin of the Pandavas, was also amongst the family members. So Krishna, how was he a cousin of the Pandavas? The Pandavas' mother, Kunti, was the sister of Krishna's father, Vasudeva. Vasudeva and Kunti were brother and sister. So therefore, Vasudeva's son, Krishna, and Kunti's sons, the Pandavas, were cousins. That's how it is described. Krishna, being a cousin of the Pandavas, was also amongst the family members. Now Krishna, what role he is going to play will be described in a verse little later. He was also there, present in this while this ritual was being performed. The second verse of this 8th chapter of the first canto, the next verse, following verse, Te niniyodakam sarve vilapya cha bhrisham punaha apluta haripadabja rajaputa sarijjale. The meaning of this second verse of this 8th chapter, first canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, having lamented over them and sufficiently offered Ganges water, they bathed in the Ganges, whose water is sanctified due to being mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. This is very significant. They were taking bath in the Ganges river. Now, what is the special thing about the Ganges river? We all know it is very, very sacred, it's very holy, it's sanctified. Why? That is being mentioned here in the Bhagavatam in this verse. It is because the water of the Ganges is mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So the Bhagavatam itself describes a pastime of Lord Krishna in his incarnation as Vamandev. When Vamana wanted to restore the kingdom of the heavenly planets to Indra, the son of Aditi. Aditi prayed to the Supreme Lord Vishnu and said, my sons have lost their kingdom, kindly restore it to them. So the Lord, being pleased with the worship of Aditi, agreed to simply become her son, appear as her son. And that was the incarnation of the Lord as the son of Aditi. His name was Vamana. Vamana, incarnation of the Lord as Vamana. He appeared as a small dwarf brahmachari boy. That was the form in which he appeared. That's why Vamana. Vamana means a dwarf in Sanskrit. And then this Vamana went to Bali Maharaj, who was ruling the heavenly planets, having conquered the heavenly kingdom and on behalf of the Asuras. Bali Maharaj is ruling, and Bali Maharaj is performing sacrifices. So Vamana, disguised as a brahmachari boy, the Supreme Lord Vishnu, disguised as a brahmachari boy, he simply went to that arena, sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj, and asked him, I want a donation, 3 paces of land measured according to my footstep. So Bali Maharaj initially was hesitant to give that small quantity of donation, which he thought the small boy doesn't have experience asking donation. So Bali Maharaj said, I can give you so much donation. Why are you asking for just 3 steps of land? Then Vamandev said, I should be satisfied with what is the bare minimum necessity. And he spoke very brilliantly, telling that there is no end to greed. Anyway, Bali Maharaj thought this brahmachari boy is speaking very intelligently, very nicely. So he actually agreed to give that donation. And what did Vamandev do? He expanded himself to cover the entire universe in 2 steps. And when he stretched out his leg to cover the upper portion above the earth, all the planets, until the covering of the universe, the first step, then the toe of his foot pierced the coverings of the universe. That's very significant, because the universe is covered by 7 layers, each layer being 10 times thicker than the previous layer. It's a huge covering. It's a huge covering. The universe itself is 4 billion miles in diameter, and this these coverings are 40 billion miles thick, 400 billion miles thick. Second layer, third layer, 4,000 billion miles thick. 4,000 billion miles is 4 trillion miles. So like that, 4 quadrillion miles, like that, the thickness of the layers. So all those layers, the Supreme Lord pierced by merely pushing his toe into the shell of the universe. And what happened? Because these universes are situated in the Karana ocean, causal ocean. So the water from the Karana ocean leaked inside this universe, and that water, as it came through the into the universe through the hole created by Vamana piercing the shell of the universe, that water washed the lotus feet of Vamandev, who is Vishnu, who is the Supreme Lord, and that is called Ganga. So therefore here it is said, the water of the Ganges is sanctified because it is mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So therefore Ganga Jal is spiritually potent. It is spiritually potent because it contains the dust of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Krishna. And that's the reason why anybody takes bath in the Ganges river, they are completely purified of all sinful reactions. Completely purified of all sinful reactions. And when they offer that Ganges water to departed soul, the departed soul also is actually benefited in several ways. That the reactions, sinful reactions, are actually cleared away when the soul is offered Ganga Jal, because the Ganga Jal is sanctified water because of being mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.